guys, welcome back. If you are new here, I am Amber from Unique Upcycles, and in today's video I am teaming up with Glenda Chavez, and we are going to be taking the $50 challenge. I recently saw my girl Ashley from Henson Home Furnishings do this with Flipping Nataly, and so I reached out to Glenda to see if she wanted to do this, and she was like, yeah, let's do it. So the $50 challenge is that we are acting like we are just starting out flipping furniture, that we have no products whatsoever. So for under $50, that includes the piece of the furniture that we are going to be painting, the primer, the paint, the top coat, our brushes, any hardware, anything like that. The only thing we are excluding is tools, so like a drill or something like that, we're excluding from the challenge, so that does not contribute to the $50. Be sure to check out Glenda's video after you're done watching mine here. I will go through the total list of the cost of everything at the end of the video. I will also leave Glenda's video linked in the description below. And if you like to see furniture flips, furniture makeovers, trash to treasures, be sure to hit that subscribe and little bell notification if you have not already done so. I try to post videos every Saturday for the most part. With that being said, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, here's the piece that I chose for this project. It is your standard orange oak 90s piece. I believe it's from an entertainment center. I'm sure we all had something that looked like this in our house. I'm going to start by removing the brackets for the hinges to hold on the doors. I always like to remove everything that I can. Then I'll give it a good cleaning with a TSP substitute. If you guys have seen my past videos, you know that I like to keep my edges paint free, so I'm taping off the side of the drawer with some frog tape. Using a chip brush, I applied 2 coats of Zinsser Bin shellac-based primer to the entire piece.
Silent treatment, is this what it feels like when your heart is aching, when it bleeds?
I've also decided to paint the inside of the cabinet to try to update it as much as possible. It's totally personal preference. You don't always have to paint the inside of the cabinet. This guy was, pretty plain, and I needed to add some hardware to it. I like to drill my holes before I paint. I can't tell you how many times I've messed up my hardware holes. It's just easier because if you need to fix it, at least you don't mess up your paint when you're doing this. I decided to use the color Parisian Gray by Folk Art, and I am applying this with the Worcester Angle brush. I only have used this brush once before to paint furniture. I actually bought it to paint my walls to get it on the ceiling, but I'm really happy with it. It actually works really well, so I'll probably be using this more in the future. A little tip for you guys, I'm running my finger along the edge of the drawer, and that's just to get off any paint that kind of dripped under so that it doesn't build up.
Silent treatment, is this what it feels like when your heart is aching, when it bleeds? If it's over, just say it out.
I did a total of 3 coats of this gray for full coverage.
Words go away, just shout it out. Just be honest, be a man right now.
So even though I did 2 coats of my shellac-based primer, I did end up with some bleed through after the first coat of the gray. I just wanted to show you guys that here. It happens to the best of us. To correct this bleed through issue, I'm going to go ahead and do another coat of primer over what I've already painted. After the primer dries, I'll do 2 more coats of the Parisian Gray, and that seemed to fix it. I didn't have any more bleed through issues after that.
We've been laying here since 4 a.m. Silent treatment.
To seal my paint, I am using Minwax Polycrylic in Ultra Clear Flat, and I am applying this with a foam brush. I did a total of 2 coats of this on top of everything that I painted.
Say those words, go away, just shout it out. Just be honest, be a man right now. Say it's over, if it's over.
I wasn't sure if I was in frame, so that's why I switched from one side to the other. Usually when you're top coating, just start from one side and work your way across. Don't go back and forth like I just did.
It's when I pass your door, the memories come back again. Picture
This guy originally had some plastic casters on there, so I am just going to be removing those and replacing those with new legs to try to give it an updated look. To make sure that all my legs are on evenly, I am just lining up one of the holes with the previous screw holes and screwing that into place. Like I said earlier, we're not including tools in our cost, but this one goes for $120 new. I got this for $20 used, so keep your eyes out for used tools. You don't always have to pay top dollar for them. I decided to apply some peel and stick contact paper to the back of the cabinet to kind of give it a little extra pop. I also applied the same peel and stick contact paper to the inside of the drawer. I decided to add some magnetic door latches on there. It didn't have anything to keep the door shut, so they just kept flopping open, so this will secure them shut. I cleaned up the hinges using a vinegar boil method. Let me know if you guys want to see a complete breakdown of that process on how I clean it. I can make a separate video for that. Little tip for you guys, anytime you're going to unscrew anything or take anything apart, always take a picture beforehand so that you can refer back to it and see how you're supposed to put it back together.
Started up a band in my garage. We thought our dream would take us so far.
Okay, so before we get into the final reveal, let's go over the numbers. I do have my little cheat sheet here, and I will list everything so you guys can see it. So the furniture was gifted to me from a family friend, so that was completely free. That's another tip. If you're just starting out, be sure to let your friends and family know that this is what you're doing. I've had so many pieces just given to me that family and friends no longer wanted, so that helps with the cost. The Zinsser Bin Primer was $11.52. I used the Folk Art Parisian Grey Chalk Paint, and I got that from Joann Fabrics with the 60% off coupon, so that only came out to $3.20 for the paint. I used Minwax Polycrylic, and that was $9.98. The chip brush that I used for the primer was $1.28. The Worcester Angle brush that I used for the paint was $5.87. The foam brush that I used for the top coat was only 71 cents. The peel and stick contact paper I got off of Amazon, and that was $7.48. The furniture legs I also got off of Amazon, and those were only $10. And a little tip for you guys, so when you're purchasing something on Amazon, you have the option to purchase, sometimes you have this option, you have the option to purchase new or used like new. So 9 times out of 10, those used like new products are just Amazon returns. So read the description, it'll tell you if there's any flaws. Most of the time, it's just gonna say that it's gonna come in not the original packaging, which is more than fine with me, and it's usually at least a couple dollars cheaper. So I got those discounted, those legs were only $10. Then the hardware was another Amazon used like new purchase that I got for another project that I ended up not using. So I went to send them back, and Amazon was like, just keep the hardware and we'll refund your money anyways. It doesn't happen often. Target does this too. I think it's if it's under like a certain cost, or the fact that these were already like a used product and it was being sent back again. So those were completely free. It was a 10-pack originally, and I think it was like $10 or $11. So it ended up being like $1 originally per hardware, and I've used them on multiple projects. Then I added the magnetic door latch. That was also an Amazon purchase. It was a pack of 4, and that was $5.99 for the pack of 4. So my total cost is $56.03. And if I wouldn't have done the magnetic door latches, I would have been at $50.04. But honestly, the door latches, it was totally worth it, because just moving that thing around and those cabinet doors were flapping open was super annoying. So it's the details that do make a difference. So I will be listing this for about $200, I think is what I'm gonna list it at. But in my defense, I actually did not buy a single product for this project. Everything I already had from previous projects. But let's go ahead and let's see the final result. Okay, so plot twist, while I was getting ready to stage it to take the final pictures, my OCD got the best of me and I could not handle that these hinges were not the same gold as the handles. So I just took some Rub and Buff in gold fleek and painted that on. And then the legs just looked a little too plain for me. You couldn't really see the wood grain, so I'm using Minwax and Special Walnut. And just applying that, it just gave it a nice little tint. So the Minwax was $4.96 and the Rub and Buff I got 50% off from Michaels, so that was $3.25. So that brings my total to $64.24. And finally, here is the reveal of the completed product. So yes, I totally did fail at the $50 challenge, but once again, in my defense, I did have everything already in stock in my little collection. I already had the Rub and Buff and the stain as well. So I still do only have about $30 invested into this, and I will be listing this for $200. So I'm hoping to make that $170 profit. I have Glenda's video linked in the description below, so be sure to go check out her video and see if she managed to stay on budget. As always, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next weekend.